The Lady on the Hill. Years before the peace negotiations were ever initiated in Northern Ireland at the turn of the century, there was a killing field where neither side ever claimed responsibility for a murder. It was at the foot of a hill, known as the Devil's Drop, a place along the border of the Republic of Ireland not far from the Irish Sea. The bodies found at this site had been so horribly mutilated that none risked any association with such heinous crimes. Both the Royal Ulster Constabulary and the Garda Síochána patrolled the area regularly, eager to capture the monsters who would commit such crimes. The Irish Republican Army and the Ulster Defence Association placed bounties on the heads of the perpetrators, eager to distance themselves from such revolting brutality. The citizens of the nearby city of Dundalk avoided the area like a plague, believing the place to be haunted by demons. Though the city was considered to be the birthplace of the mystical warrior Cuchulainn, the Devil's Drop was said to be a place forsaken by the gods. At first, they believed that it was the killers of the extremist groups that had committed the atrocities. When the activists vehemently denied these things, they next assumed it was the work of the authorities who sought to blame it on the dissidents. When the police and the military pledged to bring the murderers to justice, they realized it was the work of a demon that could not be thwarted by mortal means. Their only hope was to pray that God would intercede and banish this evil from their land. The latest incident was determined to have occurred near the Northern Ireland border, where signs of a struggle were discovered by Garda investigators. The bloodstains appeared to have been 2 weeks old, indicating that the victim had been taken elsewhere before being butchered by her killer. The body had been found at the bottom of Devil's Drop, mutilated in a way detectives said was too horrible to describe. Even more terrible was the fact that forensics determined the victim was alive throughout most of the undertaking. Garda Detective Siobhan Manley had been assigned to the case after the Irish president made a public statement vowing that the Republic would devote its full resources to the apprehension of the fiend. Both the Sinn Féin president and the County Louth representative in neighboring Ulster promised that the constabulary would not rest until the monster was apprehended. The Irish Justice Minister assured the public that the citizens of Dundalk should feel safe and secure in their homes, though cautioning that isolated areas along the outskirts of town should be avoided until the psychopath was apprehended. Though Detective Manley's assignment had not been made a matter of public record, many of the residents along the Castletown River immediately took notice of the lovely young woman as she began her investigation. She drove out to the Bay Area not far from Devil's Drop, deciding to rent a room and make it look like she was a student researching her thesis paper. She was a lovely girl with waist-length chestnut hair, dark blue eyes, and a small upturned nose with pouting lips that most men found irresistible. It was only when they found out that she was a cop did they keep their distance, and that was not the image she wanted to portray here on Dundalk. She needed all the help she could get, and if the local fishermen thought they could teach her a thing or two, so much the better. She went into the general store that was one of a long row of shops aligned in a commercial area overlooking the riverfront. She was dressed in a denim jacket and jeans, wearing her hair loose so as to attract casual attention. More than one set of eyes had found her to be a pleasant sight, but it was the presence of yet another woman in the store that was stealing her thunder. Women were the hardest judges amongst one another, and here was no exception. The other girl had black hair, pale skin, and an hourglass figure, but hers was the kind of face that most would consider beautiful. There was a difference between sexy and gorgeous, and this lass was past the curve. Her arched eyebrows accentuated her violet eyes and patrician nose, and her thick lips were perfectly shaped. Men might have been dying to take Siobhan to bed, but this lady was the type they would want to play for keeps. The men seemed to be watching her as if a prize peacock had wandered into the store. She could not look at an upper shelf without one or two asking if they could reach something for her.